All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to explore some of the most fundamental forces that hold human beings together. We're talking about the values of community, empathy, and how incredibly small everyday actions can create massive ripples of positive change in the world around us. You know, it's really easy to think that changing the world requires grand, sweeping gestures. But as we'll see today, it actually starts right where we are.
To guide our Explainer today, we're covering four main areas: the heart of community, caring for our families, helping the needy, and embracing the differently abled. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The Heart of Community, the Spark of Empathy.
So, what does true community actually look like? Well, it means active, engaged kindness. Whether a person is navigating the world in a wheelchair or communicating through sign language, the absolute core of a community is built on being helpful to everyone, regardless of their circumstances. It's about actively recognizing that our differences don't separate us. Instead, they actually give us unique ways to connect and support one another.
Moving right along to Section 2, Caring for Our Families, the First Circle of Care.
Before we can go out and impact the wider world, our very first circle of care starts right at home, especially with our elders. As our family members age, it's totally natural for them to feel more tired, maybe a bit physically weak, or even become forgetful. Recognizing this isn't about pity, not at all. It's about situational awareness. By understanding these shifts, we can actually anticipate their needs instead of just waiting around to be asked.
And there are so many simple, highly actionable ways to make our elders feel valued every single day. We're talking about things like spending time playing board games, taking them out for short walks, movies or dinners, or even just carrying their bags. Reminding them to take their medicines is a huge one, right? Or simply reading their favorite newspapers or books out loud to them. None of these actions cost a dime, but they require the most valuable currency we actually have, which is our time and attention.
Next up, let's talk about what happens when our family members aren't feeling well. Sickness requires a massive amount of patience. When someone falls ill, the whole dynamic of the house kind of shifts, doesn't it? And it becomes our responsibility to adapt and provide a really comforting environment for them.
So, how exactly do we do that? Well, we manage their needs methodically. This means giving them their medicines on time and offering kind words to keep their spirits up. But it's also super practical stuff. Keeping the house clean is absolutely vital to prevent secondary infections. We also need to give them space by not disturbing them while ensuring they get healthy food and plenty of rest. By doing all of this, we're actively speeding up their recovery.
Think about a simple act, like a child bringing a glass of water to a sick parent resting in bed. That is literal empathy in action. It shows that someone recognized a need and took a proactive step to fulfill it. It really highlights that care doesn't have to be some huge, complicated thing. It just has to be present.
All right, that brings us to Section 3, Helping the Needy Out in the World.
Now we're expanding our circle of care outside the home to folks who might lack basic necessities, like food, clothing, or schooling. And we can help bridge this societal gap through some really concrete actions. We can collect and distribute our old clothes, toys, and shoes. We can donate extra food and medicines. Think about this. Giving old books to a child who can't afford them can literally change their entire educational trajectory. But beyond just handing over resources, true empathy means being a friend, like asking them to play games. It's not just about charity. It's about offering friendship and dignity.
Now, you might be thinking, how on earth do we organize all this giving so it actually reaches the right people? Well, that's where non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, come in. An NGO is an organization which helps the poor, sick, and the needy. They act as this massive collective engine, efficiently taking those donated items and distributing them to the folks who need them most. They are the essential logistical bridge between our desire to help and the actual impact on the ground. And now for our final circle of care, Section 4, Embracing the Differently Abled, an Inclusive Society.
Let's make sure we're on the same page with our terms. When we say someone is differently abled, we're talking about someone who might not be able to see, walk, hear, or speak in the typical way. They might use different methods to navigate the world, like sign language or a wheelchair. A truly compassionate society actively evolves to support these different methods, recognizing that every single person contributes something totally unique to our shared world.
A brilliant, real-world example of this kind of societal evolution is the shift from standard schooling to inclusive schools. Instead of separating kids, inclusive schools bring differently abled and other children together to study in the exact same classroom using different methods. And here's the best part.
This doesn't just help the differently abled students. It actually provides a vastly better, more empathetic learning environment for every single child in that room. It's a total win-win.
So let's pose a fascinating question about accessibility and human problem solving. If traditional reading completely relies on eyesight, how do people who cannot see read?
The answer actually takes us back over 2 centuries. Way back in 1824, a revolutionary reading system was invented by a man named Louis Braille. He saw this massive barrier to knowledge and decided to do something about it, empowering people with visual impairments through an absolutely incredible innovation. That innovation, of course, is Braille. It's a system of touch reading and writing that completely bypasses the need for sight by using raised dots to represent letters. And just like English, it's read by moving along each line from left to right. It literally transforms written language into a tactile experience, turning the sense of touch into a direct gateway for reading and writing.
Just by gliding their fingers across the page from left to right, a person can unlock an entire world of knowledge. The invention of Braille is just such a perfect proof that when empathy meets determination, it drives unbelievable human ingenuity. We don't just accept barriers, right? We invent ways around them so that everyone gets to participate fully.
And wow, that really brings us full circle today. We've gone from helping a sick parent right in their bedroom to understanding how society literally invents entirely new alphabets just to include everyone. Because community isn't just some abstract, nice-sounding concept. It's a daily, active practice. It requires us to pay attention, and more importantly, to take action. So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a question to carry into the rest of your day. From your living room to the wider world, how will you start your ripple of care today?